Tron Aries is about to go into filming, the long-awaited sequel to Tron Legacy. But what do we know about the project? What have a few insiders exclusively told me about the project? And we have to ask the big question. Will this movie be worth watching? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. It's fair to say that Tron Legacy was not a massively overwhelming success. It was okay. It was actually quite good in places. But when you compare it to the original Tron, which is really in many ways an iconic sci-fi movie, it didn't quite meet up to the original. Let's say that. So, will this new project, Tron Aries, be better? First of all, there is not a lot officially out there about Tron Aries and actually what the film is going to be about, even though it does go into production, actually starts filming very, very shortly. I'm told within weeks it's going to actually be on the soundstage filming. What we do know is that this is going to be slightly different to Tron Ascension, which was actually the planned sequel to Tron Legacy. So when they did Tron Legacy, they were hoping for a massive hit, and they did plan an immediate sequel. It was not the massive hit, and the sequel quietly went into development hell. We now have this new project, which officially is called Tron 3, but is the working title of Tron Aries. And I'm being told that actually will be the title. We know that Jared Leto is starring as Aries, and it is believed, and I can actually tell you that sources closest have been able to confirm to me that the original storyline is still the basic premise plot of the movie, is that Aries is a sentient program who escapes into the human world. Most of this movie will be far more based around actual reality in the real world rather than on the grid. There is obviously a big question about whether Jeff Bridges and Bruce Boxleitner will actually return for this. But I'm going to tease you on that just a little bit. And first of all, I'm going to talk about the actual project. So for one, the stars, Jared Leto. Now, it's fair to say that Jared Leto is an unusual fella. But he is actually a very good actor. I've actually liked him in most things I've seen him. I even liked him as the Joker, which I know is controversial, but I quite liked him. I'm not always sure he puts 100% into every project he does. I think there are some films, and this is only my opinion, but I think there are some films that he thinks are more important than others. I am actually thinking here about Morbius. I don't think that was his best performance, and I wonder maybe it was because he didn't take it as seriously as he would other projects. And I do wonder whether that might be a similar problem for Tron. I would also point out that the character that Jared Leto here is playing, a sentient program that escapes into the real world, that's been done. So let's see if they can do something a little bit different. And let's hope he actually brings his A game to the project. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping they have something in there that's original, because I cannot help but feel that this movie's been done before. And I'm even thinking about sort of Agent Smith and the Matrix sequels, when, Agent Smith downloaded himself into a human being and started wreaking havoc. Or even Lawnmower Man, which was a very, again, similar sort of storyline. I know studios are desperate to do the next big AI project because it is so in our culture at the moment. It is so in the people's general consciousness. But to me, this is a storyline that I'm a little bit disappointed by. I'm just hoping that they're doing something different with it. And the director is very, very important on that. And does he set the correct tone? Does he actually do this in an original way? If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you miss none of our new videos. And most importantly, leave a comment. It's a community after all. We want to know what you think too. I can actually also tell you about two other big actors that are going to be in this project. They're going to have the leading roles. One, Greta Lee, is going to be the main heroine, but also now Evan Peters has signed on. I'm being told that his character is a little bit of an anti-hero, that he is the one that is sort of tricked by Aries into letting Aries out into the real world, gets Aries' human body, etc. And that even though he's not necessarily a villain, he's a slightly weaker character that gets used by Aries and eventually turns on him. So the cast on the whole is interesting. They have some pretty heavyweight actors here, remembering that Evan Peters has just won a Golden Globe for his portrayal as Dharma in that series, that miniseries he did, where he was genuinely terrifying. And this is an actor as well that, don't forget, was seriously likable in the X-Men movies as Quicksilver. To be honest, he was one of the best things about those movies. So they have a very adaptable actor in Evan Peters. They have an upcoming star in Greta Lee. And they have Jared Leto, who, regardless of what you think about him, you might be crazy. They have a director that I think can do it. And they have a script that has been in development for nearly a decade. So what can go wrong? I would argue almost all of those things I've just said are a problem except for Evan Peters and Greta Lee. I think those two are safe. I think almost everything else about this project is potentially a problem. A script that has been in development for nearly a decade is a massive red flag for me. Also, the fact that this is basically just an evolution of the same project that they planned following Tron Legacy is a massive red flag for me. How many times have we seen this before? If the script was really good enough, it wouldn't go through multiple rewrites. It wouldn't sit in development hell for 10 years. All right, Tron Legacy wasn't the massive hit that they were hoping for, but it was good enough that they could have got a sequel off the back of it if they'd really wanted to. They didn't. They have a director here who has a mixed bag of projects as far as I can tell, and nothing really that screams sci-fi, but let's go through it quickly. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil in 2019, Doomsday, Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's Revenge, Max Manus, Man of War, Bandidas, Marco Polo, and something called Kon-Tiki, which I didn't see. So a director that has a bit of a mixed bag of projects in his arsenal, that even though I say he can do something quite arty with it, I think he's a very visual director, but he's never really done anything science fiction. He has done projects that, even though they might be visually very interesting, have not particularly had a lot of substance, I would argue. And I'm not sure that this is the right person to bring back a major franchise if that's what they're trying to do. Jared Leto is also a massive concern for me. And as I said, I question whether he would really bring his A game to a project like this. Calling this Aries, though, is interesting because if you don't know, Aries is the Greek god of war, the son of Zeus and Hera. Aries was a bloodthirsty, violent god. But he was also seen as a bit of a joke figure by the Greek. He was regularly tricked and defeated. Let's not forget that Ares was basically tricked by his sister into supporting the Trojans during the Trojan War, and we know how that ended. This is a complex character, and if the Ares character in this movie reflects some of that mythology, it could actually make for quite an interesting character. But will they do that? Will they create a nuanced character that really respects the mythology? Or will they do what other films have done and they will have the God of War and really go no deeper than the fact that he loves a bit of war? I suspect that is more likely what we're going to get. And again, that will also be a massive shame. And no, I hadn't forgotten. Will Bruce Boxleitner and Jeff Bridges return for Tron 3? This question has been asked a lot. And every time basically anybody talks about this project, the question is asked again. I can tell you that actually neither will be massively involved in the next movie, but both will be a little bit. I've actually been told that the plan at the moment is that there'll be a digital version of a younger Jeff Bridges and a younger Bruce Boxleitner, basically voiced by both, and they'll be heavily created using AI. Bruce Boxleitner and Jeff Bridges will be paid handsomely, I'm sure, for that, now that the new deal is in place with the Actors Guild, and that those characters will only appear in the grid parts of this movie. But as I said, the bulk of the movie will actually be based in the real world, so we can expect those parts to be fleeting and quite limited. But it will be interesting to see those characters. The way I see it really is that as Ares escapes the grid, it'll be Bruce Boxleitner's and Jeff Bridges' characters that are trying to stop it and trying to prevent it. They obviously fail because Ares does escape. And I can see that that is where those characters will appear, and it'll be probably seconds. So do I think Tron 3 is going to be a project we should all rush out and see? Well, it's too early to really be definitive. All I will say is I've got my concerns. But get into the comments and tell me what you think. Everything I've told you about this project, do you have any alarm bells ringing? Or do you think, no, give it a chance, let's see what comes out, and at the end of the day, we're going to be teased with a lot of little clips, etc., and a lot more information over the next 6 months. Let's give it an opportunity. I always say, give everything a chance until you've seen it. Even if there are red flags, sometimes all these red flags, they come true, and we end up with a project that we go, yeah, I bloody knew it. But sometimes these things, they're greater than the sum of their parts. It could turn out actually that this director is a sci-fi genius. It could turn out that Jared Leto is really into this and really brings his A game, which if he does, he will be a brilliant villain. It could be that the script, after 10 years of development, comes out polished and beautiful. All of these things could just click together. That's a possibility. But what do you actually think? Get into the comments and tell me. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek where most of our new videos do premiere first and you get to see them without the adverts. Finally, you can go to scitrek.co.uk where I do articles based on a lot of our videos and I try to add a little bit more information for you to digest. So go check that out too. As always, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.